Alright, in my last video I talked about working out the measurements for this gift card holder that was kind of it was a hybrid. I cut part of it out on the Cricut and then part of it by hand, and then I used a corner punch around the corners. But I do want to make it strictly a Cricut file just for ease and convenience for me and anyone else who wants to use it. So that's what I'm working on today. I found this really pretty scrap piece of paper, which is blue on the back, and it's big enough for one of, let's see, gift card holders right here. Now, because I'm using a cardstock that's fairly sturdy, this is from Cricut years ago. I don't think they have it anymore. But because it's printed on both sides, or it's got a design on this side and then it's blue on the background, I'm only going to print this green layer. I'm not going to, or cut, this green layer. I'm not going to cut these additional layers unless I feel like I need to add a little something extra. But I'll do that later. So first we're going to cut this. So I'm going to have to send this to my printer. And I'm sorry, I'm realizing I don't have enough USB ports. Trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to have to put this on pause because there's really no other way for me to get around this right now. So I'll be back when I've got it cut, and I'm just cutting this green piece right here. Alright, so we've got this cut out and ready to go. I'm just going to remove it from my mat. This is a really old mat. I've had it for years, but it got buried between some other ones somehow, and so it didn't get used consistently, but it is over 10 years old. Set that off to the side. So here's our gift card piece. It doesn't look like much when you look at it like that. Here's the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold on our score lines, which are barely visible. And I probably should have cut this side because my score lines are going the wrong way, but we'll just be gentle. So this is really my test on the second gen version of my original design, which isn't original to me, by the way. It's just, kind of took somebody else's idea and formulated it for the Cricut. So this would then fit in there. Oh, and that works so much better. Look at that little slot. Oh, perfect. So now let's see if these work. Get out our Bass Pro. So this was a card that was given to us as a gift, but apparently it did not get activated at the time of purchase, which, as you know, sometimes happens. And so we were never able to use it. But look at that. It fits perfect. And then you close it up. Oops, it still doesn't want to stay. Oh, well, you know what? I didn't, I didn't score or burnish my folds. So let me do that real quick, and that will probably help. Like I said, this is a medium to heavy cardstock, so it doesn't need a lot of extra layers for support or anything, especially because, people, I don't know that people are going to save these like they do cards even. So, the more work you put into it, the prettier it's going to be, and if that brings you joy and that's what you like, then do it, but just know that they're probably not going to keep it. So you might want to limit how much work you actually put into it. There you go. All sealed up. So then you could go ahead and put a message on the back if you wanted to. You could put a message down here. You can glue it down even. Just make sure that you don't glue inside of that tab. So you want to keep your glue on the outside. So I think I could probably find a pretty piece of paper that could go in there that we could leave to write a message on. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Alright, just digging through my scraps, because remember, we're just using scraps. these are the two that I came up with, and I feel like this one, this variegated sheet, actually works better than this more, I don't know if you would call it an aqua or teal color. You can't really tell in the, oops. Yeah, it just kind of gets washed out with the light. But I feel like this is the way to go. So we're going to set this off to the side. And let's get our mat back out. I've said this before, but for those of you who are new here, I do tape my pieces down. Not necessarily on a brand new mat, but as I said, this one is not brand new. It's well used. I have added, made it sticky again, but still. All right, so let's see. I think it starts to get a little dark toward the bottom, so I think I'll work in this corner up here, except I don't like the way that's going, so I want to turn my sheet or my image when I cut it. So let's tack this down. Oops. So if you're curious what I use to make my mats sticky again, I use a Zig marker, and they are both permanent and reusable. I use this big one here. Let's see here. Two-way glue. So if you let it dry, it becomes removable. If you adhere it while it's wet, it becomes permanent. And it's got a nice big wedge tip on it that works really well for redoing these mats. Just make sure you let them dry really well. And you can use them until you end up cutting through them, which is what I did with my last one. So I finally decided it was time that it went to its eternal slumber. Which it was actually a newer mat than this one, but it had been used a lot more. And I tend to cut through my mats because I don't know, my settings just never feel quite right. All right, so we've got that ready to go. So let's go back into our I got to restore my machine. Hold on just a moment. I'm going to get out of here real quick, if it'll let me. And cancel. And I want to cut, where did that go? Oh, here it is. The one I want to recut is the bottom one or the top one. Yeah, we want to do the bottom one. Okay, so that's going to be one of these or this one here. I'm going to make it some weird color so it's by itself. Choose this deep purple. And then we're going to go back into make. And we're going to find our purple page down here. We're going to remove this, let's go ahead and cut it. That way it'll kind of match the bottom one. So we'll cut both of those. I'm just going to, what I need to do? I need to turn it. So I'm going to hold my shift key and grab my arrow here and turn it. Because I just want the ombre not going side to side but up and down. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And then I am going to double check my mat to make sure is wide enough, my piece of paper, and it is. So I'm going to pause this right here. We're going to cut this out and we'll be right back. All right, we have our pieces cut for the inside. I'm just going to remove them from the mat here. And set that off to the side. Now, before I do anything else, I think what I would like to do is round the edges or the corners. So I'm going to grab my corner rounder. I'm going to decide what size I want to use, and I think I'm going to go with this middle one here. So let's zoom back in. And I'm going to do it on the outside edges too. So the middle one is 7 millimeters. So I like the roundness for a couple of reasons. You don't have to do this, but I like it because that one didn't cut very well. I like the way it looks. The other thing is, especially on the outside edges where the cardstock is, round corners tend to hold up better over time than square ones. Oops, yeah, it did cut. I didn't think it did. See, that one didn't cut. And that's okay. So let's do it on our cardstock here as well. So we're going to go back to this middle one. Now if you want to do, so when you fold it up you can see that these bottom corners aren't rounded, and actually neither are these top ones here. If you want to round those, and the whole point of rounding them was because they'll hold up better, you're going to have to fold it, and hopefully if you have a corner rounder it will hold the thickness. And that one didn't work. Must have something stuck in there. There we go. Try that again. And now we're going to fold the bottom part and do the same thing. And this is probably at the upper limits of what this punch will handle as far as thickness. Okay. So we're going to quickly clean up all those little bits of debris with our little desk vacuum. Thank you to my friend Bonnie for gifting me this. I use it all the time. I love it. Alright, so let's put our paper in here. And this is just paper. You could use cardstock or something decorative, but I just want them to be able to write their sentiment or something on there if they choose. Alright, so we're going to get out our glue, just kind of go around the outside edges here. Again, you're not building the Great Wall of China or the pyramids here. This is probably going to end up in a trash bin somewhere, so just keep that in mind. I mean, I'm not telling you not to make it pretty, I'm just telling you don't be surprised if all your hard work goes in the bin later. I don't want to discourage you from doing it. I enjoy making this stuff. I full well know that not everybody enjoys the effort as much as I do, and that's okay. It's perfectly fine. You know, just don't frustrate yourself in the process. I'm just kind of trying to get that as centered as possible. Spread that glue out and add our card back in. And there we go. Where's our little tab? Oh no, I glued the tab down. That was the whole oh no. Did you guys see that? Oh, there we go. I think I saved it. Oh, a little bit anyway. Okay, don't do that. When you're gluing, make sure you don't glue where that tab is, otherwise you won't be able to use it. But we were able to salvage it, so no harm, no foul. But yeah, that was a close one. So there you go. Now, you, like I said, you can add as many layers as you want, make it as pretty as you want. You could add, you know, a nice little butterfly, or like a layered topper that says happy birthday, or, you know, have fun with it. Decorate it up the way you like, the way you envision it. And you could even put something on this back piece, but I wouldn't, just because you could do it on the back side, but you want to make sure you leave those tabs in working order. So they've got room to write their message. And if you don't want to cut this tab out and you just want to make a belly band for it, just contour that tab out of there so you don't have to worry about it. And for that matter, if you want to glue these edges down, you can contour these out as well. And then you've got a little pocket that your card will slide into. Let's just pull that out. So let's imagine our edges are glued down. You can still slide your card in there. I would put a thumb hole there if you were going to do it that way. Maybe take this tab and flip it over and cut it out up there. And then you can put a belly band on it. So you have a lot of options even with just this simple design. So I hope you have fun with it. I would love to see some of your finished creations. Like I said, this is just very simple. You could get as elaborate as you want. Some ribbon around there instead of a belly band might be pretty. If you're going to hang it on a tree as like a, or put it on a gift, you could punch a little hole up here and then put your ribbon or string through that. Plenty of options. So this file is going to be free to anyone who's interested. You can check it out in my Facebook group, which is linked below. Actually, I'm going to put it on the page. I'm trying to use the page more instead of the group. So look for it on the Facebook page, which is linked below as well. And let me know what you think. You know, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it came out pretty good. It's probably a little wider than it needs to be, but again, that works out good if you want to decide to glue the edges down and make that a pocket. So there you have it. Thanks again for joining me, and till next time, happy crafting.